Salamanders are bringing a Land Raider Redeemer packed with 6 aggressors led by a captain in Gravis armor, 10 Infernus Marines arriving in a drop pod, an Impulsor filled with a squad of Hellblasters led by a Librarian, a 5-man squad of Infiltrators, a Lancer, a Ballistus Dreadnought, and a Redemptor Dreadnought. World leaders are bringing Angron, Lord Invocatus, Master of Executions with 10 Khorne Berserkers, 6 Exalted 8-bound, 2 3-man squads of Exalted 8-bound, Chaos Spawn, 10-man squad of Bloodletters, and a Bloodthirster. Deployment for today is Tipping Point, primary mission is Linchpin, and mission rule is Fog of War. World leaders are starting us off and they draw Area Denial and engage on all fronts as secondaries. Blood dice are going to reveal sustained hits and feel no pain. Lord Invocatus is going to give scout to the Exalted 8-bound and the Berserkers, as well as moving forward himself. Exalted 8-bound move forward. Berserker squad will move forward into cover. The regular 8-bound will do their scout move into the building. Exalted 8-bound move onto the objective, making sure they remain behind cover. Regular 8-bound advance 14 inches but fail to make it to the other side of the wall. Master of Executions and the Berserkers are going to move, so they're just towing onto the center objective for area denial, and the rest are going to be behind cover. Lord Invocatus moves forward to stage for the following turn. Unable to make the final table quarter, Angron will advance and simply position himself behind cover the best he can. That's going to end the turn for the world leaders, scoring 5 points for area denial and 2 points for being in 3 table quarters. Secondaries for the Salamanders are Cleanse and Sabotage. Impulsor moves up the board to get line of sight on the Exalted 8-bound. The Hellblasters disembark from the Impulsor, getting line of sight on the Exalted 8-bound. Lancer moves forward to get line of sight on Lord Invocatus. The Land Raider will move its full 12 inches forward and deploy the Gravis Captain with the Aggressor Squad. The Lancer will start the shooting phase for the Salamanders, splitting fire between Lord Invocatus and the Exalted 8-bound. World leaders spend 1 CP to re-roll a save on Lord Invocatus, making it, and the Exalted 8-bound lose 1 wound. Ballistus Dreadnought opens up on Lord Invocatus and manages to take him down. The Impulsor, Librarian, and Hellblasters all fire into the Exalted 8-bound, one Hellblaster killing itself in the process. They manage to take down one of them and leave another at 2 wounds remaining. Salamanders are going to spend 1 CP thanks to the Captain for Immolation Protocol on the Aggressors. That manages to take down 6 of the Berserkers on the objective. Berserkers make a blood surge of 3 inches, which is enough to get them into engagement range with the aggressors, but they are touching the objective, so should they get wiped here, they're able to bleed on it and sticky it. The Redeemer fires everything into Angron, taking 1 wound off of him, bringing him down to 15. Master of Executions and the Berserkers go into the aggressor squad, managing to take down 3 of them and leaving another at 1 wound remaining. The aggressors have a fantastic clapback, managing to wipe the entire squad. That does mean they are able to consolidate onto the objective, so the world leaders decide not to bleed on it. Salamanders are going to discard Sabotage for a CP, but hold on to Cleanse. World leaders select lethal hits, sustained hits, and +2 to subscribe for their blessings. Secondaries are Recover Assets and No Prisoners. Angron moves in on the aggressor squad on the center objective. The regular 8-bound are going to move towards the Salamander's home objective, and they are going to spend 1 CP to fire Overwatch with the Land Raider. It manages to take down 1 8-bound, leaving another at 2 wounds remaining. Jackals are going to spread out in order to screen as much of a deep strike as possible. Bloodletters are also going to continue to screen the backfield. Exalted 8-bound come in out of deep strike, able to charge all 3 vehicles if needed. Salamanders spend 1 CP per rapid ingress, bringing in the Redemptor Dreadnought to defend the home objective. It's charge o'clock for the world leaders, and Angron starts us off by making the charge into both the Land Raider and the aggressor squad. Exalted 8-bound make their charge into the Hellblasters, and because both players forgot about the earlier Overwatch, Salamanders are going to spend their last CP to Overwatch with the Hellblasters, managing to take down 1 8-bound but losing a Hellblaster in the process. Finally, the regular 8-bound make their charge into the Infiltrators on the Salamander home objective. Angron is going to send all his attacks into the aggressor squad. The captain will pop Armor of Contempt for free, and it manages to save him as Angron picks up the rest of the squad. World leaders spend 1 CP to reroll blood dice and get Feel No Pains. Regular 8-bound scoop up the infiltrators. Exalted 8-bound pick up the Librarian, the rest of the Hellblasters, and leaves the Impulsor at 5 wounds remaining. Impulsor claps back, failing to score a wound, but the Captain and the Land Raider do bring Angron down to 13 wounds remaining. That's going to end the turn for the World Eaters, holding on to recover assets until the end of the next turn, but they do manage to score the full 5 points on no prisoners. Salamanders held on to Cleanse from last turn and draw Area Denial. Unfortunately, they will score 0 on primary this turn, so they go right into movement. Captain is going to fall back directly on the center objective. The Land Raider will also fall back from Angron. The Redemptor moves in on the regular 8-bound. Ballistus Dreadnought moves to get line of sight on Angron. The Impulsor succeeds its Battle Shock test, falling back onto the objective. The Lancer also moves on the objective to steal it from the Exalted 8-bound. The Eradicators come in from Deep Strike, and the drop pod crashes down, spitting out a squad of Infernus Marines. World leaders spend 1 CP on Rapid Ingress, bringing down the Bloodthirster that has its eyes on the Redemptor. Eradicators fire into the Bloodthirster, knocking off 4 wounds. The Redemptor makes short work of the regular 8-bound sitting on their home objective. The Ballistus Dreadnought takes 5 wounds off of Angron. The Lancer lets loose on Angron, bringing him down to 3 wounds and bracketing him, but crucially not killing him. Infernus Marines into the Exalted 8-bound, managing 2 damage. Salamanders are going to discard Cleanse for a CP and hold on to Area Denial since they were not able to score it this turn. Top of round 3, and the Cordon Blessings are Sustain Hits and Feel No Pains. Secondaries are Cleanse and Containment. World leaders will score the full 6 points for recovering assets in 3 different zones. Angron passes his Battle Shock test, so they will also score 13 points on primary, controlling 3 objectives. Movement, Chaos Spawn are going to move on to the center objective an inch away from the Captain to steal it and perform the Cleanse action. Bloodletters are going to replace the Chaos Spawn on their objective to also perform the Cleanse action. Jackals are going to start moving up the board to assist. The Bloodthirster moves in on the Land Raider. Salamanders spend 1 CP to fire Overwatch with the Eradicators that's going to take the Bloodthirster down to 10 wounds remaining. Angron shortens the distance into the Lancer. The Exalted 8-bound will close the gap on the Impulsor. The other squad of Exalted 8-bound get up close and personal with the Infernus Marines. Angron starts us off making the charge into the Lancer. The Exalted 8-bound make their charge into the Impulsor. The Bloodthirster makes its charge into the Land Raider. And the Exalted 8-bound make their charge into the Infernus Marines. Start of the fight phase, Angron takes down the Lancer. Bloodthirster takes down the Land Raider and consolidates onto the Ballistus Dreadnought. Exalted 8-bound pick up the Impulsor, and the last Exalted 8-bound squad manages to pick up 7 of the Infernus Marines. Clapbacks, the Exalted 8-bound make all their saves, taking no wounds from the Infernus Marines. The Ballistus Dreadnought fails to score a wound on the Bloodthirster, ending combat. Bloodthirster is going to use its end of combat ability to score 4 mortal wounds on the Ballistus Dreadnought. World leaders are going to score 4 points for cleansing 2 objectives and discard Containment for a CP. Round 3 for the Salamanders, they have Area Denial from last turn and draw Assassination. Oath of Moment is going on the Bloodthirster, and Salamanders will score 3 points on primary for owning their home objective. Movement is kicked off by the Ballistus Dreadnought falling back. Infernus Marines attempt to fall back but fail the Battle Shock test thanks to the Exalted 8-bound. Eradicators make a fantastic advance to get eyes on the Bloodthirster again. The Redemptor also moves around the building to get line of sight on the Bloodthirster. Shooting phase, the Eradicators fire into the Bloodthirster and manage to take it down. This will score them Assassination. That's it for shooting. The Captain makes its charge into the Chaos Spawn but only manages to score 2 wounds. The Spawn manage a decent crackback, bringing the Captain down to 3 wounds himself. And the Exalted 8-bound pick up the rest of the Infernus squad. A quick turn for the Salamanders. They are going to score 5 points for Assassination and discard Area Denial for a CP. Secondaries for the World Eaters are Behind Enemy Lines and Storm Hostile Objective. Blessings of Corn are Sustain Hits and Feel No Pain. The Chaos Spawn heal back up to full, and World Eaters will score 18 points for controlling 4 objectives. Angron moves to the center objective. Exalted A-Bound reposition so they are staged for a solid charge should the Salamanders want to advance. Jackals are going to advance onto the northern objective to cover it for the Exalted A-Bound. Angron makes his easy charge into the captain on the center objective. Exalted A-Bound make a long charge to wrap around the far side of the Dreadnought, hoping to then consolidate onto the Eradicators, but the Salamanders will spend 1 CP on Overwatch, and the World Eaters will spend 1 CP to reroll a save. Unfortunately, it will not do it, and the Eradicators pick up the Exalted A-Bound on the World Eaters' turn. Womp womp. Angron manages to split the captain in half, clearing the center objective. Losing the Exalted A-Bound means that the World Eaters aren't going to score any secondary points this turn, deciding to pitch them both for CP. Bottom of round 4, Salamanders draw Secure No Man's Land and Marked for Death. Marked for Death targets are the Jackals, the Exalted A-Bound behind cover, and the Bloodletters. Start of the movement phase, the Redemptor will get eyes on both Angron and the Bloodletters. Eradicators also move into position to get line of sight on Angron. The Ballista's Dreadnought advances to, guess what? Get line of sight on Angron. Eradicators fire into Angron, absolutely wiping the floor with him. World Eaters are going to spend 1 CP to bleed on the objective and sticky it just in case. Ballistas fires into the Chaos Spawn, managing to knock off 2 wounds. The Redemptor fires everything into the Bloodletters, taking 5 of them out. Our players have decided to call it there, making the final score 8-53 in favor of the World Eaters. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please do consider dropping a sub. But until next time, as always, happy gaming.